Hello everybody, WaffleTime here, and today we are going to be plowing our way through Master Mode Terraria with a small twist. I will be playing Terraria the way God intended, using a guide from the Wiki. This guide is meant for Master Mode or Master Mode Hardcore, and we're going to follow it to a T to see not only if it works, but to see if it works for us in specifics, as this guide seems like it has some interesting strategies for the bosses that lurk ahead. Let's begin, shall we? It all starts on a bright and sunny day one, which tells us, the first step is to collect plenty of wood. After most available wood has been harvested, have a look around for chests, make wooden weapons, and kill some slimes. Make a small box out of wood for protection, and start digging a elevator during the night. As you can see, I jumped straight into tree chopping, a first crucial component to any Terraria world. I have high hopes going into this that will be quickly diminished through a series of growing a god complex and then being crushed immediately afterwards. I build an intricate, yet rustic hut for our beloved sweet baby guide, which we will swiftly and surely put on the slow roast in hell by Voodoo Doll later on in this run, but we won't think about that for now. We have bigger and better things to do, such as loot this chests. I got myself a step stool that had more defense than my entire wooden armor set because it had warding, got me a sick-ass spear to poke stuff with, and some rather mundane climbing claws. We head back to the future side of Fort Waffle, and build ourselves a little storage and crafting area which will also give us swift access to our elevator that we place below. I start digging a bit, but I do not go too far. After a quick and successful day 1, we move straight into day 2, which tells us, on the second day it may be of the player's interest to obtain cactus gear. Beware of vultures, as they can quickly end a playthrough without effort. Proceed with extreme caution, avoid crimson, corruption, and jungle at all costs. During the night, the smartest thing to do is simply expand the elevator. Metal equipment will be a massive milestone, and simply digging further downward is the easiest method of getting there. Light up caves and loot underground cabins, glowing mushroom biomes, etc. with extreme caution. Beware of traps. We do exactly as our Holy Divine Guide says and go straight into the desert to get some cacti and make some armor out of it. There's nothing I love more about cactus than making articles of clothing out of it and putting it directly onto my skin with zero repercussion or responsibility for my actions. I also venture slightly further out and loot some living wood trees. Excellent. I then swang-a-lang it over to the left side of my world to see if there's some more tasty treats for me to indulge myself in, but am quickly met with the cruel reality that corruption ass cancer is right next to my house. I look forward to having to constantly contaminate later. Exciting. Fun! As it turns nighttime, I have my cactus armor now, so I'm feeling like a beast. Nothing could stop me, not even God. Nothing, except for a dart that does over the amount of health I have in damage. I now cower behind my crippling victim complex. Having that said, however, all I had to do after that was eat bell peppers and mine all the ores in sight. And brother, I don't eat bell peppers. As day 2 ends and day 3 begins, we see it's a pretty lax day compared to our previous endeavors. Starting to branch out on day 3 is not a bad idea. Crafting stations and storage should be set up as well as housing. Obtaining reasonable weapons, tools, and armor will also be necessary for upcoming bosses. Armor, you say? Well, boom, right in your goddamn face. Mismatch armor for my mismatch mentality. NPC housing, you say? Well, lucky for you. I could build a shit out of some small squares with tables and a chair in them. Check this out. Watch me speed build. What? No, dude! This is where we really get into the sweet, succulent meat and potatoes of early pre-hard mode. In the early game, the player needs to prepare for early bosses and events in order to defeat them safely. The player may proceed along normal progression and fight the King Slime, Eye of Cthulhu, and Goblin Army with silver or gold quality weapons. However, the safest way, especially in hardcore, is to be overpowered and use weapons which break the normal sequence. Below are a couple of options for obtaining overpowered equipment in the early game. Mini Shark. It'll require the player to make one risky run into the Corruption or Crimson. With the new gun, the arms dealer is now eligible to move into an empty house. Buy the mini shark from him to make the rest of the early game a breeze. Baby, it is time to get that motherfucking mini shark in our possession at once. What can go wrong, honestly? All I have to do is break a couple of orbs and get a musket, so the arms dealer moves in. We're gonna sit here and do some therapy building so we could feel better about ourselves. But at least we got one gun. That's really all we needed. We do, however, need those triple dipple nipple fat stack discounts, so we move our arms dealer in with his little cinnamon apple in order to sweeten the pot. After that, we do some more exploring to get our health and money up. We will surely need it in order to get that mini shark. At long last, we're prepared to take on our first boss, which is considered the most difficult and vexatious boss in the entire game of Terraria, so much so that there are many players that avoid killing him entirely in their playthrough. That's right. King motherfucking Slime himself. Here's how we have to prepare. After any further preparation, King Slime should be fought. A long 3-layer arena of platforms with plenty of space to move around should be constructed. A hook, at least 180 life, silver equipment or better, and lots of potions should be used. Remember to keep a distance at all times. Why is there even a tutorial on killing King Slime, you may ask? Well, I asked myself the same thing. Remember that silly little god complex that continuously got shattered I was telling you about earlier in this video? Well, I got embarrassingly close to dying versus King Slime, but thankfully I didn't. My pride and confidence are now extremely fragile, and it'll take a very small amount of constructive criticism from anyone for me to snap and make the stylist shave me bald. Having all of that said and done, we have officially iced our first boss. We are now ready for the Moon Lord. Nothing can stop us. Now that we've toughed out the absolute hardest part of the game, we can now move on to doing some more exploring. The guide states, following the defeat of King Slime, one may choose to further explore the world. Whenever an uncommon resource is encountered, make sure to confirm full safety before going to collect it. Alright, check. The next one is mining. We could really knock out 2 birds with 1 stone after we get some good gear and do some mining. Once some good gear has been acquired, venturing into the underground layers is feasible. Look for gold or platinum, and make sure to look through chests. Be sure to grab all ores and slush, fossils, or silt blocks for the extractinator. Alright, check. Now, if we haven't already, it's time to do some NPC gathering and grab all the NPCs we don't have with us. This includes absolutely destroying the goblin troops and the goblin invasion. Once some gold or platinum armor and or weapons have been obtained, it is time to gather some NPCs. Once grenades are acquired, it's time to take on the goblin army. Use the grenades, but when they run out, use a small volcano farm. This is a small pit filled with very shallow lava with a room underneath. Go under the lava and wait. Have a broadsword out to deal with chaos balls and watch for the teleportation of goblin sorcerers themselves. I actually have most of the NPCs mentioned in here, minus one of the most important little money-grabbing bastards I know, the Goblin Tinkerer. We need to mess that goblin invasion up to get him though, and I can't even begin to describe how much I am not looking forward to this. I farmed some goblin scouts out on the outskirts of my world to make that goblin battle standard. I make a quick lava trap setup and take care of those mindless little numbskull nincompoop ground units, while I make a small section underneath to hide under. At any rate, all we'd have to do is worry about the chaos balls, which, surprise, are a huge fucking problem, much bigger than I had previously anticipated. This ended up being a struggle fest, despite the fact that I was as well prepared as one could be. You'll notice this is a reoccurring theme for the rest of the video. As a matter of fact, every single time I die when I'm over prepared for an event or a boss, I age by 2 years. I do not have much time left. Rejoice! We win! Finally! God, I hate the fucking goblin invasion. It's time for one of the first bosses that offer us some pretty legit loot. There's a need for the Shield of Cthulhu, as we're going to need it in order to dodge the speedy hits of Queen Bee. An easy and overpowered method is to make a sky bridge around 300 to 700 blocks horizontally with platforms, then place sand on top of the sky bridge. In order for the method to work, you need Dune Rider boots. Below it, put heart lanterns and campfires. The extreme speed will make it extremely hard to get hit when it starts speed swinging at you. Finally, we get to beast out a real boss and get some real good loot. Let's make a quick platform and summon him and get right to battle. Not so fast, you brainless little twerp. You have to get Dune Rider boots and make a sand platform. God damn it. This shouldn't be too hard, right? All I have to do is loot chests. Loot chests. Loot chest. 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 Man, on screen it sure looks like this was a quick and simple process, but I assure you that getting these boots was a task that took several hours of my life. It felt 1,000 times worse knowing that I could have simply made a long row of platforms and shot the eye to death, but that would violate the entire premise of this video, and god damn it, despite making me so unbelievably mad, the premise makes some juicy fucking content. We make our arena and charge directly into battle. Man, I talked some crazy shit because of the amount of hours I had to put into getting the components to the strategy, but it works so damn good. Eye of Cthulhu stood no chance against me. Didn't stand a chance with regular platforms and Hermes boots either. I was far too fast for it. That's another boss crossed right off the list, and thank Christ we have ourselves a Shield of Cthulhu. Next boss on the list is the Eater of Worlds, Big Worm. If you're corruption, you could get the Ancient Shadow Armor. It's the best set before the Eater of Worlds, so it's worth the amount of farming. Get water candles if you want to risk it to make the farming quicker. Other than that, you should use battle potions. Make an arena on the surface with 5 layers, make them high but low enough to where you can rocket boot to them. Make the arena with campfires and heart lanterns, farm it until you get full armor and all the tools and stuff. Again, you would think this would be an extremely easy process. Just do some grinding, right? Wrong! RNGesus hates us today. What do you do to combat RNGesus? Automation! Did automating the death of these flying hemorrhoids help to get that full set of armor? Fucking almost! 6 hours off my existence. 6 hours! Waiting for a helmet to drop from one of these loathsome little anal polyps. We make our 5-layer arena with some good buffs, then go ahead and blow up the last shadow orb in order to summon the Eater of Worlds. I made a demon bow and a very unhealthy amount of Jester's arrows so we can schlick right through this boss. Lo and behold, it works every time. I absolutely love the satisfaction of shooting never-ending arrows through several segments of giant cancer worm. It makes me feel whole again, really. It really just fills that void from when I almost died to the King Slime. Another boss off the list, and another excellent accessory in our arsenal. The Worm Scarf and Shield of Cthulhu will carry our sorry asses all the way through hard mode. I'm pissing all over the floor now even thinking about it. You're probably going to want to get full molten armor and the tools to it. This is because the bosses and everything else do so much damage. Get 2 obsidian skin potions, activate one of the potions, jump in the lava, mine the hellstone, use the other one whenever it's about to run out. You should have about 180 bars of hellstone once you're finished. The things we need are the Molten Fury, the Fiery Greatsword, obviously full molten armor. Now you're extremely overpowered. Man, I love the sound of that. Epic mining compilation incoming. Boy oh boy, I can't tell you how good it feels to have this molten lava rock on my skin. We also equip ourselves with several excellent Hell Rock weapons, which will make our victim's complex dissipate a very, very small amount. It's time for another boss after all that hellstone mining. Find a hive and mark it down on the map with a ton of torches surrounding it. Mine a side away to make an arena. Platform it your way. Make a honey place at the bottom for faster healing, put campfires everywhere so healing is made easy, use your Molten Fury, and get Frostburn arrows. Once you defeat it, farm it. With the combined force of my Molten Bow and newly crafted Frostburn arrows, as well as the might of the Fiery Greatsword, this battle was only slightly ass-clenching. I've always had a hell of a time with the Queen Bee, also known as Queen P, on account of her strange fixation on shit and piss. But anyways, her defense skyrockets as her health depletes, making this fight more and more annoying as her health goes down. The final recipe of demolishing the wall of flesh calls for over 300 beanades. So we have some grinding to do. Aside from the grinding, this is one more boss we could cross off this list. At least I didn't have to scour every chest in the entire world in order to get a key component, hint hint, Dune Rider boots, in order to challenge this boss. Maybe we can find Skeletron? As this loot is very valuable, it has over 10,000 health combined, and it literally shoots skulls. This should be done in between Queen Slime and the mechanical bosses. Okay. Final preparation. This step is very important, as not only is the Wall of Flesh fight difficult, the hard mode will be very punishing, and preparation is necessary. Build a big runway for Wall of Flesh. Right after the fight, grab the loot and return home, then buy a shotgun and extra ammo. This will provide a reasonable form of defense against the early but formidable enemies in hard mode. We get all of our potions ready for the final battle of pre-hard mode. Get a killer platform ready, extra long, for an extra fast flesh wall, as well as prepare our pockets to be wrung out dry because we have to buy hard mode weapons and reforge them after this is over. We're on to the final steps. It feels amazing. It feels like this has taken so much goddamn longer than it should have, but fuck it. It feels amazing. The time is right. Everything is ready. This battle can make or break us. So without further ado, let's very carefully extract our guide voodoo doll. And let's fucking go! Beanades are key here. Bring at least 300 beanades even if it requires farming. Running out of beanades is a certain death sentence in this fight. Bringing too many is impossible. After setting up a very long bridge as an arena, zoom out as much as possible and throw the doll. Then start running and throw the beanades. Now, when I tell you that this motherfucker is fast, I mean he is fast. Dude has wheels. Maybe he's actually just really fast on account of the fact that his exposed flesh is a natural lubricant, allowing him to glide freely around the underworld as he pleases. Yep, that's it. That's my new theory. This is canon. Now, as for the clutch, I'm going to not speak and allow you to experience the same emotion I felt in this time. Disbelief. In an absolute clutch, we defeat the Wall of Flesh on our first try. Thank God. My ass cheeks were clenched so insanely hard that they could have turned a piece of coal into diamond. I tell you now, If I would have died at this stage of the game after grinding out enough queen bees for over 300 bee nades, I would have fucking imploded. I would have bottled it all up inside and taken it out on my future family. What a relief we don't have to do that. Time for hard mode. Welcome to hard mode. With the defeat of the wall of flesh, the difficulty of survival is greatly increased. The first thing to do is buy a shotgun as detailed above, gather souls and ichor/curse flames and smash some altars. Now gather the hard mode ores. Try to stay near the underworld to potentially obtain a hellfire and fire feather. Once a good supply of hard mode ores has been mined, create a safe fishing spot. Wyverns can be very difficult to fight. Try piercing or explosive weapons and dodge well. Then craft a mithril or orichalcum anvil and an adamantite/titanium forge. Craft bars and equipment out of hard mode ore. We go ahead and cop our handy dandy shotgun to deal with the hard mode mobs. By deal with them, I mean ward them off, just enough to run away like the sniveling little piss babies we are. This section is mostly resource gathering in order to actually survive and make progress in hard mode, so we do just that. The most chunky bit of this is the ore collection, as per usual, but in order to do that, we have to lay the pipe on some of these altars to make the ores spawn in our world. We are simply feeling like some tremendous fucking beasts from clutching that wall of flesh battle on accident, so we do no fishing, and instead pile drive our way right back into hell and the caverns to gather as much ore as we can. We don't bother with the armor except for our last tier. We have no time to waste. It feels good and bad being in hard mode. Good because we can finally get way better gear and have nothing but an open world in front of us to explore, pillage, and make sweet love to. Bad because upon the mere touch of any hard mode mob, we immediately lose more than half of our health to their triple, double, tonsil blasting, giga hand twist, vacuum seal, gawk, muscle spasm, organ twisting, brain blaster combo. What a trade-off! We gather all of the materials and items we can because the rest of this video is going to be one tremendous fucking boss rush with little to do in between each boss. At this point, there is no doubt in my mind that this will be fun and interesting, and most definitely infuriating beyond measure. It is now officially time for our first hard mode boss, none other than King Slime's Dommy Mommy, Queen Slime. This fight will be medium hard, but be aware, the minions that come from this boss also received a massive buff, so be extra cautious about the minions that spawn from the boss. You're gonna want to kill this a couple times till you get full Crystal Assassin armor. The guide was right! This fight was medium hard. Not too bad at all. I made that old King Slime arena into a Queen Slime arena by putting some lava down at the bottom. That way the little beta cuck slime minions burnt to a crisp while I could focus on their MILF of a mother. This fight is easy peasy lemon squeezy on most occasions. You know what isn't easy, however? Do you really want to be shocked? RNGesus! Making things difficult, lemon difficult. Woo! Grind time! My favorite! Several stupid Queen Slime battles later, and we have ourselves full Crystal Assassin armor, which is apparently the key component for demolishing the mechanical bosses. Let's move right on to them. It's about time we get rocking and rolling with the mechs. Oh, you wanted a mechanical boss battle, huh, you little twerp? Well, too bad. Pre-hard mode comes back to bite your ass, and not in a fun and kinky way. Buff up as much as possible, and a small platform arena can help. With your hard mode gear should be no problem. Alright. Maybe I was just a little bit upset because I wanted to kill a mech, but hey, this battle went smooth, as it should. I would be slightly concerned if this battle didn't go well, considering we have cool hard mode items now and cool hard mode armor. Yeah. Skeletron, you know? Anyways, back to hard mode bosses. Before we challenge the first mechanical boss, let it be known that I got absolutely tired of not having any cash money moolah in this world, so I went absolutely wacko mode and made one of those big mob farm setups. This also put us in an excellent place to kill corrupt mimics, which would end up giving us not only potions and other cool loot, but also the dart rifle, which we would end up using against the destroyer. It works so goddamn well, and I can't tell you why I've slept on this weapon for so long against all of your wishes. This took way longer than it should have, because, surprise, I kept dying over and over again. But that's not what matters. We are willing to compromise in our money-making endeavors by being edged by the sweet release of permanent death, then being sucked back into the mortal realm to go collect the money we forgot to put in our piggy banks. Okay, enough of that. Destroyer time, baby. Time for some progress. This technically is an upgrade of the Eater of Worlds. Use the arena you used for King Slime, but expand it. Use full Crystal Assassin armor. When you kill it, make a Mega Shark. Alright, bet. Seems simple enough. We take our dart rifle we worked so hard for, march back to our wimpy little arena we used for Queen and King Slime, and summon him right up. We go ahead and top the Queen Slime mount. Poor thing. And start blasting away with our dart rifle. Again, why I didn't use this thing before, even in my Ranger playthroughs, is far beyond me at this point. You know what else is far beyond me at this point? The unholy amount of health that the Destroyer has. In Classic mode, this tank has about 80,000 health, which is a whole lot. When you challenge this Robo Tonsil Blaster in Master mode, it does a funny, and makes a really small and not that noticeable leap from 80,000 health to 153,000 health. Enduring the length of this fight simply on account of its massive amount of health really hammers the idea into my head that, you know, maybe the Tower of Babel didn't go far enough. Thank fuck that's over with. 2 more mechs and we're done with the Industrial Revolution. We go ahead and craft up that juicy, yet succulent Mega Shark and pair it with some cursed bullets. This, in turn, should make the twins be no problem at all. Try to kill one at a time as they won't go in second form at the same time and have it made a whole lot harder. Use the same arena, use the Mega Shark. We first gun for the main culprit of the direct violation to the Geneva Convention, Spasmatism. This rat bastard inflicts the Cursed Inferno debuff on us, which gives us more incentive to drop everything and become a mukbang YouTuber. Once we defeat him, the fight is pretty much over, and we immediately stop considering such ludicrous routes of professions in our later years. Retinazer is pretty easy to deal with. It's almost like Retinazer isn't in the right headspace in this fight after we gun down his brother, Spasmatism, right in front of him. Who knew flying eyeballs with teeth and lasers were capable of such intense remorse? Sucks for them, they're nothing but materials to us. Speaking of which, Epic Easy Dub, Epic Easy Fortnite Dub, Epic Clap. The metallic shit dumpster Skeletron Prime is next. The Pest. God, I hate Skeletron Prime so much. I hate his stupid little face and stupid little fucking half smile. Piece of shit. He's crossed a line. He will know our name for the rest of his life because we will carve it in his forehead with a goddamn metal engraver and oxyacetylene weld a stupid laser gun and cannon together. God, I hate him. I hate him so much. Alright, got that off my chest. Let's battle. Skeletron Prime is definitely the hardest one. You're dead if it turns day. Use the same arena you've been using, do the same strats. We kept using the dart rifle because it's fun and sexy. Every dart that caused an inkling of pain to Skeletron Prime was a testament to my paramount level of hatred towards him. In a way, this battle felt good, knowing this is another Terraria world in which I would never have to worry about Skeletron Prime again. Another world in which I wouldn't have to look at this stupid little pest in the face. Now that's a world I want to live in. At last, we're done with the mechs, and we can move on to bigger and better things. Up next is a terrifying, yet thick, with 3 C's, Jungle Boss Plantera. A big arena is a must as Plantera does high contact damage. Ranged weapons are optimal. It's recommended to use the Mega Shark with Chlorophyte bullets. As for armor, use Turtle Armor for maximum defense and its Thorn effect. Keep a distance from the boss and do the following. Use a pool of honey. Set up some heart lanterns and campfires. Use all regenerative buffs and accessories. This fight is pretty self-explanatory. I'd say the biggest part of it is having a tall and spacious arena. We got our Turtle Armor, got our Mega Shark, and charged right in. Plantera is an absolute beast if you don't prepare for her correctly. She can destroy you with spiky balls, shoot seeds at you that can crush any chance of you surviving in that second phase of hers. And you always must be mindful about staying out of tentacle range. Otherwise, we will be the subjects of a new, hip, and popular delusion that people will have to hide from their parents when reading. But thankfully that doesn't happen. We stay out of tentacle range and keep circling around her, gunning her cheeks with one of my favorite weapons in the game. There were a couple scary instances in which I thought, surely this is the end. Surely I will be the next 6-digit code someone looks up out of curiosity, changing their life and porn perspective permanently. But we stood our ground, remained pure and holy, did not get tentacled, and ended up with an epic gamer dub for this round. With this epic gamer dub, we can march our happy asses right into the dungeon and get us some pretty sweet loot to tentacle the other bosses for a change. After Plantera is defeated, the dungeon is completely revamped. If you haven't explored the dungeon yet, now's the time. Dungeon enemies are very powerful, so keep your distance as much as possible. Once you get the weapons and accessories you want, farm ectoplasm. Have you ever been playing Terraria, doing your daily farming, perhaps fighting a boss or two, and thought, man, I really wish there was a part of this game in which I could simultaneously be blinded, shot, fucking exploded, lasered, and bludgeoned to death all at the same time? Me either, but guess what? It's here knocking at your doorstep, ready to have intercourse with your wife and teach your kids how to ride their bikes. You can never get that back. Post-Plantera dungeon beats me to death consistently, and while I can appreciate a high level of consistency, I can tell you that I consistently want to pull my hair out while I'm doing dungeon work. After dying in here several times, we wise up and set a spawn at the dungeon so we no longer have to do the nude walk of shame back all the way to the dungeon, then go on the loot grind for several more hours. We want any loot that will help us demolish the next few bosses, but the main loot we're looking for are the components to the Master Ninja gear. After a lot of grinding, we get exactly what we need and get the living hell out of dodge before our victims complex and hair loss gets any worse. Duke Fishrin should be fought here or after Golem for the good loot. We're gonna do Golem first because we're cowards. A large space is required. Actuate the blocks forming the walls of the room to move into a prepared arena. For this boss fight, mobility is paramount. Do not stop moving. A Tabi or upgrades will be very helpful for its dash. This should be used to avoid the I-beams, destroying the hands as priority due to their high attack rate. When the second phase is reached, be sure to pay attention to all incoming projectiles, as well as the still moving body. Man, we just walk right into the temple, pillage Golem's village, and take all of his women. Let's go! I fucking love bullying Golem. He's such a fun little punching bag to take out all of our anger on. This one goes out to everyone who gets mad at me when they use a patched method on Golem. Watch and learn. Simply just shoot the son of a bitch and you'll win. Simple. Also, read titles and descriptions. Shit. We grind this little cuck out until we have enough beetle husk for some beetle armor, getting us almost all ready for demolishing the Moon Lord himself. I am trying not to throw up from excitement. Now it's time for Dick Pissrin. The Shrimpy Truffle is almost required for the Moon Lord fight. The weapons are very useful too. Make a large, multi-platform arena over the ocean. Getting the Truffle Worm won't be too hard, make sure to bring lots of mobility accessories. The Duke is fast, so it'll be hard to outspeed him. Dodge him as well as possible. When he goes into his final form, use a long-ranged weapon such as the Mega Shark. Keep grinding until you get the weapons you want. In retrospect, simply shoot him and stay the living hell away from him, because he does an ungodly amount of damage, and you don't want any part of that. Duke Fishrin holds a key component in defeating the Moon Lord, and that is his small baby that comes from the Shrimpy Truffle. We use the Mega Shark while also making good use of the Stinger, which drops from Golem. God damn, this guy is a fucking unit. One hit from this guy nearly takes out half of my health, which in turn takes out half of my lifespan. We demolished Duke Fishrin the first time, which was very surprising to me. We then get the Shrimpy Truffle, meaning we can absolutely wreck Duke Fishrin with no problem, right? Evasiveness isn't a problem anymore, right? Wrong. We die. We get nothing. We lose. Anyways, last few steps. We're moving on to the Lunatic Cultist. For the boss fight, dodging is the only way to beat this boss. No face tank setup can survive his damage in Master Mode. Homing weapons are helpful, but note that they can only do 75% damage against a cultist. Proceed with extreme caution so as not to attack the duplicates. Lunatic Cultist is never really too bad to deal with. I just gotta avoid hitting the duplicates at all costs. Because then, and only then, is he a pain in the ass to deal with. It's also worth mentioning that he is also a pain in the ass to deal with when you use a Mega Shark, but I love the goddamn Mega Shark, so we spend the entire day fighting the Lunatic Cultist. But hey, we did it. We made it. Simple math. Alright, here comes one of the most tedious goddamn parts of any Terraria run. You're almost there. The Celestial Pillars are a difficult fight. It is recommended to use a cautious strategy. This entails staying near the edges of the pillar's spawn zone, allowing fewer enemies to spawn, and killing them safely. This is a time-consuming but safer strategy than simply running towards the pillar attacking. Also, in the Solar Pillar, do not fly. If there's a Crawltipede, it can kill you in 2 shots, as it does around 150 damage. But if you stay on the ground, the Crawltipede will not come down. The most treacherous ones, in my opinion, are obviously the Solar Pillar as well as the Nebula Pillar. Everything in the Solar Pillar is a goddamn problem. The floating brain monster things that teleport and shoot lasers in the Nebula Pillar, however, rub me the wrong way. In many ways. Defeating all of these pillars, however, will mark the final step done in regard to preparing for the Moon Lord. We go ahead and make the Vortex Beater along with some good bullets, as well as make a cute little catastrophic Stardust minion to help us in our endeavors. This battle is going to be very difficult. Nothing will shelter the player from the Moon Lord's attacks, and no face tank strategy can outperform his massive damage values. It is advised to obtain the Shrimpy Truffle mount and create a large amount of bubble pockets for either water or honey. Rod of Discord is invaluable for evading attacks. No matter the class, use the Vortex Beater with Glorified Bullets for their homing capability, allowing more focus on dodging. Mobility should be taken care of by these preparations. Equip a full set of combat accessories instead of movement accessories. Once the eyes are destroyed, start flying to one side while moving up or down slightly to dodge the attacks. We have everything at our fingertips. This is the final step. Everything we've done has led up to this very moment, and it's finally time to put everything we have into battle. This is it. This is the moment. Fuck! Okay, let's try that again, except on our own accord. We want to challenge this big tentacle monster when it's raining, so that our cute fisherman mount can go ape mode and fly fast as shit. We use the vortex beater to shoot him in his various eyeballs. We use the stardust self-staff to self-staff him in his various eyeballs. We use our hard-earned rod of dick sword to teleport away from his various eyeballs. As soon as I reach the end of the world, I teleport away real quick and attack his other side. Eventually, we get all 3 of his various eyeballs out. And it's simply a race to deny the Moon Lord's promposal in front of the entire school and break his little heart. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. While we sit back and bask in our glory from finally having a sense of completion in our lives, I'd like to make a quick mention that the guide at this time had no mention of the Empress of Light. Thank God. Who knew that completing things solely by the book would take so goddamn long? There were several points in this in which I thought that I had actually died and went to some type of sick purgatory in which I could play games but never really complete anything I was trying to do. At long last though, we are at peace. We can sit and watch the credits with no more odd tasks ahead of us. Having all of that said, thank you all so much for watching. This video did take an extremely long time to work on and make, so if you guys did enjoy it, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content like this, as well as share this video to show your support. Also, be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below. I always love to hear from you guys. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. WaffleTime out.